On the fateful day of September 1, 1939, the course of history took a dark turn. Nazi Germany, fueled by a false accusation that the Poles had attacked a German radio station, launched a so-called retaliatory campaign against Poland, thus triggering the devastating global conflict known as World War II. Poland, already facing the wrath of the German war machine, found itself caught in a two-front war when the Soviet Union invaded from the east on September 17. The swift surrender of Warsaw to the Germans on September 28 led to the partitioning of Poland between Germany and the Soviet Union, as outlined in their secret non-aggression pact. The aftermath of the German invasion witnessed the brutal suppression of the Polish people, including the targeted execution of Polish civilians, nobility, clergy, and intelligentsia by the German SS, police, and military units. Furthermore, over 1.8 million Jews within German-occupied territory were imprisoned in ghettos, with over 3 million Polish Jews ultimately deported to Nazi concentration camps. Stutthof, one of these camps, became infamous due to the actions of Jenny-Wanda Barkmann, a German guard. Born on May 30, 1922, in Hamburg, during the Weimar Republic era, Barkmann's formative years were deeply influenced by the rise of Adolf Hitler and the Nazi Party in January 1933. At the age of 10, she became a member of the League of German Girls, the female section of the Hitler Youth, led by Baldur von Schirach. These organizations served as primary tools for indoctrinating young Germans with Nazi ideology, molding their beliefs, thoughts, and actions. By the end of 1933, the Hitler Youth's membership had swelled from approximately 100,000 to over 2 million, but Jews were prohibited from joining these organizations. The Hitler Youth and League of German Girls aimed to instill racial consciousness and physical fitness in their members, as well as discourage individuality, promote uniformity, and report dissenting behavior. Premarital sex was even encouraged within their ranks, justified by the notion of creating a new future for Germany. In September 1939, the Germans established the Stutthof concentration camp near the town of Stutthof, close to Danzig. Originally, Stutthof served as a civilian internment camp under the control of the Danzig police chief. However, it soon evolved into a labor education camp for political prisoners and individuals accused of violating labor discipline. In January 1942, Stutthof officially became a regular concentration camp under the jurisdiction of the SS. It was expanded in 1943, with the addition of new barracks, electrified barbed wire fences, and a crematorium with a gas chamber. The gas chamber was used for mass executions, particularly after Stutthof was included in the final solution, in June 1944. In total, over 60,000 people, mainly non-Jewish Poles, were victims of Stutthof and its numerous subcamps. Conditions in the camp were horrendous, with prisoners dying from typhus epidemics and being subjected to systematic abuse. Those deemed too weak or sick to work were gassed, while others were killed by lethal injections in the infirmary. The Stutthof concentration camp, located in northern Poland, played a significant role in the horrors of the Holocaust. Originally established as a camp for Polish prisoners, its population dramatically increased in 1944 with the arrival of Jewish prisoners, predominantly from Auschwitz. The camp was staffed by SS guards and, from 1943 onward, Ukrainian auxiliaries. Among these guards was Jenny-Wanda Barkmann, who joined the camp staff in January 1944. As the shortage of guards became severe, women from Danzig and surrounding cities were conscripted to train as camp guards, and Barkmann became notorious for her exceptional cruelty. Even in the midst of Stutthof's sadistic environment, Barkmann's brutality knew no bounds. She was known for mercilessly beating inmates, often resulting in their deaths, using either her bare hands or a whip. Shockingly, even children were not spared from her violence. Furthermore, she would select prisoners, along with their mothers, and send them to the gas chamber without a trace of remorse. Due to her striking appearance combined with her cruelty, prisoners gave her the chilling nickname of the Beautiful Spectre. The evacuation of the Stutthof camp system began in January 1945, with nearly 50,000 prisoners, the majority of whom were Jews. As the Soviet forces advanced, thousands of prisoners were forced to march towards Lauenburg in eastern Germany. However, the advancing Soviet troops cut them off, and the surviving prisoners were forced back to Stutthof. The grueling march, conducted in severe winter conditions and under brutal treatment from the SS guards, resulted in the deaths of thousands of prisoners. In late April 1945, the remaining prisoners were evacuated by sea as Stutthof became completely encircled by Soviet forces. Tragically, many prisoners were forced into the sea and shot. The evacuation from Stutthof and its subcamps claimed the lives of over 25,000 prisoners, half of the camp's population. In the aftermath of the war, Barkmann attempted to escape the advancing Soviet troops in Danzig. However, she was apprehended by the Polish militia in May 1945 at the Danzig railway station. During her initial interrogation, Barkmann, seemingly unaffected by the severity of her crimes, claimed to have treated Jews well and denied any mistreatment of prisoners. She even fabricated stories of secretly helping the unfortunate inmates and saving them from death. However, her lies failed to save her from justice. Barkmann faced trial at the first Stutthof trial, which began on April 25, 1946. The trial concluded on May 31, with Barkmann and 10 other defendants convicted of crimes against humanity. All 11 were sentenced to death by hanging. As the verdict was delivered, Barkmann, in contrast to her fellow convicts who cried and pleaded for their lives, remained calm. Her final remark encapsulated her lack of remorse. "Life is indeed a pleasure, and pleasures are usually short." The execution, held publicly, turned into a grotesque spectacle documented by official press photographers. Only 3 public executions of war criminals took place in Poland after World War II, and the hanging of 11 Nazi criminals from Stutthof, including Barkmann, on July 4, 1946, was one of them. At exactly 5 p.m., 11 trucks carrying the prisoners arrived at the execution site. The prisoners' hands and legs were tied, and they were positioned on the truck's platforms. Former Stutthof prisoners, dressed in striped uniforms, volunteered to act as executioners, placing nooses around the convicts' necks. The execution was planned meticulously to ensure that the convicts did not suffer instant death but endured a prolonged strangulation. The sight of convicts struggling for up to 20 minutes haunted the witnesses. Some convicts even shouted their allegiance to Hitler before succumbing to the noose. In the annals of history, the story of Stutthof concentration camp and its most infamous guard, Jenny-Wanda Barkmann, serves as a harrowing reminder of the depths of human cruelty and the horrors unleashed during World War II.